What up gamers, Fancier here, and in this video I want to share my thoughts on the Fallout TV show. This is probably the most hype I have ever been for a TV show or any video game adaptation. I would say that recently, video game adaptations have been getting better with Mario, Sonic, and The Last of Us. I would say that Halo is the only outlier here, but with Fallout though, it is an amazing adaptation. I'm also a huge fan of Fallout, so it is my favorite video game franchise. I might be a bit biased here because of that. However, I will be as fair as possible in my review of the show, and to let you guys know, I do have some critiques of the show, so it's not all rainbows and sunshine for me. But before we get started, I do want to say two things. One, there will be spoilers up ahead for Season 1 of the Fallout TV show, as well as the video game so that I can reference them. And two, I thought I would share my experience of the franchise first before we get started, just so that you guys know where I'm coming from when I'm giving my points here in my review. So first up, the first Fallout game I've ever played is Fallout 4 when it first launched, because it's been made by Bethesda Game Studios, who also made Skyrim, in which I played that first, so I thought I would give this game a shot, and I did beat this game multiple times, one in survival mode with all DLCs, but I would say that most of my time went to modding. It was the first game I've ever modded, and at some points, in this channel, I'd also like to bring some modded playthroughs of Skyrim and Fallout. That'll be pretty fun to bring to this channel. But with Fallout 4, that game is probably where the majority of my knowledge will come from. But it's been a while since I've played it, and any of the following games as well that I'm about to mention. It's been a while since I played them as well, so I might be forgetful and misremembering things. But yeah, afterwards, after Fallout 4, I did play Fallout 3 and all of their DLCs one time. I've also played New Vegas, but only the vanilla experience, no DLCs. I did not play their DLCs, unfortunately. Then I played Fallout 76 up to the point where they first did the Expeditions update, and also I do have a whole playthrough of 76 on my channel if you want to check those out. And finally, I played through Fallout 1 a few years ago on Bomb Day, which is October 23rd. I played it up to the point where we fought the final few bosses, but I actually stopped because the game was actually getting way too hard for me. And also, yeah, videos are also there of me playing it as well. But I've only uploaded like half of the playthrough because, since I stopped, I didn't think it was worth uploading the rest. But yeah, outside of Bethesda Game Studios though, pretty much if you search on YouTube Fallout lore or something, like with specific factions like the Brotherhood of Steel, Enclave, whatever, yeah, I probably watch those, at least the ones that are around at least 1 to 2 years old. Yeah, 1 to 2 years old, around there. I haven't been watching them recently if there's any new ones, but yeah, that's my experience with the Fallout franchise. Now, let's get into my thoughts on the show. But the way I'll be reviewing it is by going by the main characters, who are Lucy, Maximus, and the Ghoul. I'll also include Norm because I did feel like, he feel like a main character as well, so I thought I would include him as well, where we just, follow his story in Vault 33. Anyways, to start, I guess we can begin with Lucy since she is the main of the main characters in the show. I really liked her character. She is naive to the wasteland since she's been sheltered in Vault 33 the whole time, creating this whole fish out of water story with her. This really helps out though with her character development, where her goody two shoes personality is incompatible with the residents of the wasteland. But over time, she does get more wary, where even when Maximus saves her back in Philly, she is hesitant on doing the same to him since so many people have been trying to kill her. But overall, she's able to adapt to the new world around her, but still being herself though, and keeping her values. Like, I think it was interesting when the ghoul tried to teach Lucy the rules of the wasteland, and Lucy follows it in her own way that still keeps her humanity. And as for the ending, where I thought it was also very interesting, where Lucy's father was the one responsible for nuking Shady Sands, which, by the way, it was cool to see its appearance in this show, and it got me excited to see what Hank is up to and what looks to be a New Vegas in ruins. Like maybe he had some valuable stuff with Robert House since they were both in the same building the day Vault-Tec had that meeting with the other companies, with Robco included. I think Robert House owns Robco. So yeah, I'm guessing that, maybe he'll use any functioning Securitrons and make an army out of them. But I'm not sure, but I am excited to see what he does though. On the other hand, though, like another character in Lucy's story, which I would say is the weakest part, is Moldaver. I think she had a good role, but I feel like she's just there to fill a role. Like for someone who has been hyped up throughout the show, she didn't really bring more than what was necessary to tell the story. Like I feel like we needed more flashbacks, like a quick cutscene, like yeah, many quick cutscenes maybe that shows her progression from pre-war citizen to what seems to be remnants of the New California Republic, or the NCR for short. Kind of like with Dr. Wilzig, where we spent an opening learning about his time in the Enclave remnants, the remnants of the Enclave, it seems, and just raising dog meat. But yeah, I guess you can see that with the flashback with Cooper Howard fulfills that role, but I wish we would see more on her side of the story rather than Cooper. Overall, I think Moldaver fulfilled her story, but I just wish they explored more of her character since the show has been hyping her up. I mean, we even see like the people in Vault 4 just like treating her as like some kind of god. But going back to Lucy, I do like how she went from her cheerful okie dokie catchphrase to a serious mood okie dokie. Like I said, it is character development. Like she isn't in the end game yet where she'll become overpowered like the players of the game would usually be at the end, but I imagine that she'll be doing more action in the next season, even grow more as a character and be more badass. Maybe because with the ghoul that she's traveling with, maybe she'll find herself being more like him, since she's traveling with him to hunt down Hank. But yeah, that was Lucy. Let's move on to Maximus. And it pains me to say this, but he and the Brotherhood of Steel were my least favorite part of the show. I know. It just really sucks because they're my favorite faction in Fallout. Like, it was cool to see the Knights in their T-60 power armor, the Vertibirds in the Pridwin-like ship called the Caswinin, but it sucks that they didn't really explain much about this new group of the Brotherhood unless somehow I missed it. Anyways, I'll get back to the Brotherhood later on. I just want to cover the characters' individual stories first, and we have Maximus. Out of all the main characters, he is my least favorite, if you couldn't tell. And mainly because I feel like he's all over the place with his, I guess how they're trying to write this character and his personality. With Lucy, she's just a naive person. The ghoul is just usually chill and sometimes can be like, pissed off maybe. But, then there's Maximus here where he feels like he's bouncing around from being like, a good guy, but also like he's selfish, but then he went back to good. But then he acts like a child, then he acts brave, and then he wants to chill in the vault. I don't know, it just feels like there's just a lot of things, like there's a lot of bouncing around through like extreme, I guess, ways of writing. I'm not sure how to best explain it. Like, yeah. And yeah, when it comes to like me describing that, like it's probably not in that order. It just feels something like that. Like, yeah, with Maximus here, I just really can't tell what his character is like. Like maybe the best thing I can say that is that maybe he's like maybe a coward that drives his decisions because I don't know, like he wants to be good, but then he's driven by his cowardness. I don't know, it just feels weird. With those traits, it just also feels weird to see a character like this in the Brotherhood. But I will say, I did try my best to, find a reason on why he's like this so that I can like and appreciate his character more. And the best thing I can think of is that he's still a newbie. He is an aspirant. I mean, the Brotherhood base here looks like it's a boot camp for, newcomers or aspirants to learn. So maybe he hasn't fully committed to the Brotherhood. Like he understands the goals, but maybe he's not fully committed. I mean, also, like, when he was in class, he wasn't really that good in it, so yeah, maybe it's just him being a noob overall that because of that, it does make me forgive his character a bit more. I just wish he would do more things in favor of the Brotherhood because I feel like this whole time he just doesn't want to get in trouble for letting Knight Titus die. Maybe I'm just used to characters like Paladin Dance and Cyril Lyons who are selfless and are dedicated to their Brotherhood, even if it like costs their life. And then we have Maximus who just doesn't want to be tattled on, tattletaled on by Thaddeus. Actually, Thaddeus, like even though he's somewhat similar to Maximus, I do think he was at least like very funny and stuff. And yeah, and because of his fate, it does make me actually forgive his character because I don't think he'll be part of the Brotherhood anymore. I would say another character though, in Maximus' story that I wasn't a fan of is Dane. I feel like their role is just to be Maximus's best friend. That's pretty much it. Like, it's pretty much the same on how I feel about Maldaver, where they're just there to fulfill a role. But with Dane, I would say I am more forgiving compared to Maldaver because I didn't really expect to see more with her character. Where Maldaver, she's been hyped up. Anyways, back to Maximus here. Even though I've been all over the place on me describing my thoughts on him, ultimately, I do think he's just still the kid from when he walked out of the fridge and saw the Brotherhood soldier in power armor. Like, when he saw the power armor that the soldier wears, he just wants it for himself now because it looks so badass, I guess, and powerful. And he just wants to use that armor to get revenge for the destruction of Shady Sands. That's my guess on it, on why he was written that way, and how, why he was so happy when he was playing around in it. And to be honest, I do think, it could have been on purpose that he was written this way, because I think a lot of us, when we saw the power armor, that's how we also felt. So, yeah, that could be a thing so that we can relate to him and understand and just have fun with it. But, overall, I do hope that season 2 will be better for him. And, he also has an awesome name, so I do want him to be an awesome character as well. But like when he got Knight Titus's power armor through unofficial means, he also got credit for taking down Maldaver. So yeah, I'm not sure, man. Like, he's been given power again, but this time I hope in season 2 he learned from his time from faking as Titus to not I guess let it go over his head. Like, him killing Titus kind of like drove him to be like being scared. I hope that with him you know not really taking down Maldaver, that doesn't drive his decisions. I hope he's a bit more honest in the next season. Anyways, next up, we got the Ghoul, aka Cooper Howard, and he's my favorite character so far. He's pretty much a veteran Fallout player, whereas with Lucy and Maximus, I feel like they were when we first played Fallout. But like, I really liked his character where he's a pre-war ghoul and we get to see his story jump from the past and the present. And even with this ruthless nature, you can see that he's still even hesitant on spying his wife. Like, we first saw he was more innocent back then compared to the present. And it is also like very broken when he hears her wife, like his wife, just like talking about the bombs benefiting Vault-Tec. I love his transformation from this innocent actor to this heartless wasteland ghoul mercenary guy that does pretty much whatever he wants. And his introduction as the ghoul was so badass, man. And also, what's also interesting is that we see the benefits and dangers of being a ghoul. I do want to touch more on this later on, but overall, I would say that there's not really much I can say about this character compared to the previous two, other than that he is very well executed and that he really feels like a Fallout character. Even his wife was awesome too, like she even said the line, "War never changes." And finally, we get our secret fourth main character, and that is Norm. I say that because he's not as important to the story compared to the previous three, but what happens around him is an entire story of itself. And also, before we get started on his character, what's also funny is that the actor is Rico from Hannah Montana, and I thought I would mention it because I didn't recognize him at first until someone mentioned to me when I was watching it, and now I just can't unsee a sad Rico in a vault. But with Norm's story here, it's pretty much uncovering the secrets of Vaults 31 to 33, and I think this is the most interesting parts of the show. I would say that Vault-Tec has been the main faction of the show, and they did such a good job of giving interesting lore to them. Like, as fans, we know that Vault-Tec are more than what they seem, and this show here does a very great job of expanding it to reveal themselves in the pre-war times during Cooper's story. Like, it was so interesting to see that as well. And while we're also talking about other people's story, Lucy discovering the experiments of Vault 4 was also pretty brutal and, yeah, just terrifying and interesting. Like I said, fans know what to expect, but it is intriguing to see each Vault experiment and purposes. But yeah, going back to Norma here, I did think he had an interesting story as well. It is a mystery to, like I said, uncover the mysteries of Vault-Tec and how they plan the three vaults to be like. I also love his personality, where he's usually like very calm and sometimes uh very sad, and he can get worried. Thinking back to Maximus, I feel like what I describe about him would fit him more if he were in Norm's position rather than being a Brotherhood aspirant or squire. But anyways, with Norm again here, I like his story, and he had his moments as well. I like it when he said something along the lines of, "How can you demote someone who doesn't like every job he's taken?" or something like that. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much my review of the story aspect of the show. Now let's get into the more gamer side of things and talk about if this was a good adaptation from the games. This will also cover my thoughts on the visuals and audio. So yeah, let's get started, man. Let's begin with what I wanted to talk about and go back to around the beginning of this video, and that's the Brotherhood of Steel. Overall, I don't like this depiction of them, and this is me just trying my best to remember them from the games. I am open to be stand corrected, but I feel like the way they went is very backwards with how they presented the Brotherhood of Steel. I mean, first off, I just feel like the way they showed them here, it just feels like a random military outpost that has no history. Like, it's just there, like just a Brotherhood military base. And they went as far as, when it comes to lore, they went as far as explaining the goal of the Brotherhood, which is to take pre war technology for themselves. But nothing feels unique for this specific group of Brotherhood. Like, the only thing that we have about anything outside of them is that yeah, they've received orders from the Commonwealth Brotherhood, which I assume is the East Coast Brotherhood that Arthur Maxon led back in Fallout 4. It does make me think that, maybe either the Brotherhood ending or the Minutemen ending became canon. That's what they're going with. But yeah, since they said it from the highest power, I'm guessing, that they do live at least. So yeah, I don't think they would be saying that if the Brotherhood is destroyed in Fallout 4. But yeah, like when it comes to like anything lore, like that's pretty much what we got. And compared to the games, I liked it the continuation from Fallout 3. Even with like Fallout 3, like they also had their own history, like their own lore going back from like the previous games. But going from like Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, where we saw Arthur Maxon in Fallout 3, and that's the same kid in Fallout 4 where he grew up, where he was able to unite the Brotherhood and the Outcasts, then being able to construct the Prydwen to deal with the Institute in the Commonwealth. Like, yeah, Fallout 4 gave a history to the Brotherhood, not just only taking technology, but they had like their own public figures and stuff. Whereas the show here, like everything just feels very generic. It feels like a normal military outpost, like I said. But I feel like if anything though, this might be a Brotherhood where it is failing, because when Maximus returned the head, the false head of Dr. Wilzig to the old guy, I don't know who the old guy is. I'm not sure if he's the elder or something, but after he learned what Titus did to Maximus, the old guy did mention how the Brotherhood has fallen and wants to rebuild it with Maximus. So I think that's interesting. Um, I just wish though that they would give more background to it. Also, I think it could also explain their lack of energy weapons. Like maybe it's only the Commonwealth or East Coast Brotherhood thing, but I did notice in this show that they weren't using laser guns and miniguns other than the Vertibird miniguns. The knights here only use ballistic guns like the assault rifle, and with the squires, like they use the original 10mm pistol. Whereas the story before the show, Fallout 4, they would use laser rifles and Gatling lasers, and I would say the only ballistic weapons they would use is the minigun, maybe also a rocket launcher. Um, but yeah, I don't remember if they ever used rocket launchers though. I don't remember that last part. But like I said, maybe it could only be a East Coast thing since they are the highest in power, so that could be the reason why they don't use energy weapons, because yeah, this brotherhood here is not as advanced as them. Since we're talking about factions, another faction I'm questioning is the NCR, where I'm not sure if Maldaver's people are all NCR because some of their, like, I guess their fighting style back in Vault 33 from Maldaver's people, like they felt more Raider like maybe their NCR remnants mixed with Wastelanders and Raiders, but I'm not so sure. And I say this because it just looks weird to see the NCR fight like this way, and we know they are probably the NCR since in the final battle in the final video, we saw that one person just wave around the NCR flag. So yeah, it just looks very weird to see. I thought they would be more military like still, similar to the Brotherhood of Steel or like the original NCR that we saw back in New Vegas. Yeah, I'd like to know more about what's going on with that, with the NCR and Maldaver, because it just feels like the NCR just became more like Raiders instead. I'm sure there's, more NCR groups out there though, like other than Maldaver, because I know with the NCR, their population is big, and I don't think all the NCR was in Shady Sands. So I wonder if there is still NCR out there that are very much military-like, and that Maldaver, maybe just her group, just became raiders because of the bombing of Shady Sands. But yeah, it does feel weird though with the NCR. Like our only exposure to that faction is through Maldaver. And since we're talking about some negatives here, I thought I would just say some other little nitpicks here, and that is with the dialogue and some of the CGI. I know it's a small thing, but I I found that with Lucy and Maximus talking about like intercourse, it's just so weird because it felt so direct, like the way they said it. Like it felt something out of Borderlands or something. It's just with how direct they are, I think that's where it just felt so weird. Whereas in the games, I felt like it was a bit more, when it comes to romance in general, or even like flirting, it just felt more natural, I guess, and more subtle. But that's just me trying my best to remember because I haven't really done much in the romance stuff. But yeah, when it comes to the CGI though, like with these special effects, like there are some stuff that looked very, a bit weird. With Knight Titus when he was running away from the Yaguai and just being dragged around by it. I thought the way he runned looked a bit too fast and cartoony for someone in power armor, even when he was like dragged around by the Yaguai. And also when even Maximus, when he was flying around in the power armor with the hand thrusters, when it was malfunctioning, when he was like flying all over the place, it looked a bit too, I don't know, not that natural. But yeah, these are just very small things though. They don't really take away too much. But yeah, I would say one more special effect that felt so, I guess, not natural is the deep fake of Hank. It looked very, very off because the scene was supposed to be him expressing himself as a fan to Cooper, but when he was, I guess, geeking out or something in front of Cooper, he had a very stoic facial expression. Like his facial expressions, it was just like very neutral, but his dialogue was supposed to be him just like freaking out and just having fun with Cooper Howard. I don't know. And I guess one more nitpick though, one more thing I'll say is that I do have a problem with, I guess, one part of the ghouls where after the whole standoff in Philly with the ghoul and everyone in Philly, It did feel weird that the ghoul was not able to take damage, like not that much damage. And I feel like with the ghoul here, it's supposed to be the introduction of like the ghoul as a species, and the way he was just taking the bullets like a bullet sponge, I don't know, it just felt very weird unless it's only with Cooper Howard, like, that specific ghoul that he can take those damages because, in the games, like gameplay wise from the Fallout games, that's not really something that we experience. Like, I feel like shooting a ghoul in the games is about the same as shooting a human in the games. So, just seeing this felt very odd to me that, I'm not sure if this means that all ghouls are very bullet spongy or if it's just Cooper Howard. I'm not sure. Now, so far with this adaptation review part of the video here, I have been very negative about the that part, but I think everything else though feels very spot on unless I missed a thing or two. Like, even though I had trouble with the sponginess of the ghouls, I liked it how we do see them turn feral. Like, from my experience, I don't think we've ever seen a ghoul go feral in front of our face, like only through stuff like holotapes or notes or whatever. Like, with Lucy here, we seen them turn feral right before her eyes, so yeah, I hope this is something that we can see in a future Fallout game because I think it's such an interesting thing that we never see like to our faces, like in front of us. But yeah, like I said, I am open to be staying corrected with all of my points here. Like maybe with this actually happened before where we do see them turn in front of us. But yeah, with the show though, they do make it out to seem like it is more common than usual. And yeah, it is an element that I like, that I would like to see more of. But I would say that the most impressive thing that they adapted to the show are the visuals. Stuff like the power armor, the weapons, especially the vaults. I feel like they just came directly from the games. Like, I think there may be some new weapons and new gadgets, like the hand thrusters from the power armor and some other maybe new guns or stuff. But for the most part, everything felt as if they just modded Fallout 4 to look realistic. Even the hacking minigame that Norm did is the exact same as in Fallout 4 and 76. Now, with the whole negative stuff that I've said, they're just mainly minor criticisms. If anything, it might just be explained and expanded upon in the next season, but with how bad they are right now, doesn't really compare to how good they've adapted the series. I don't know why, but when they played the Fallout 4 main menu theme in Vault 4, that felt like the most Fallout scene ever. Like, it actually gave me the chills, and I do hope that more comes in the next season, more stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, that is my review of the first season of the Fallout TV series. Looking back, it's not the most, I guess, best worded and organized stuff, but yeah, I'm just getting back into commentaries and yeah, hopefully guys you enjoyed my review of it. And now I turn it over to you guys. What do you guys think of it, of the show? Do you guys like it or dislike it? Love or to hate it? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm also thinking of doing some, like I said before, some Fallout content again. Maybe even some Elder Scrolls. I've done some before, like way long ago. um, but yeah, I'm just thinking about it just for now. If anything, I thought about redoing Fallout 76 and Fallout 1, or maybe do a modded playthrough of Fallout 4. But yeah, we'll see if I decide to do anything with that. But for sure, I'll be reviewing Season 2, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, that'll be for now, guys. That's game.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good